Greetings. There's been a lot of discussion about what the current meta level should be for Elden Ring. And I mean a lot. So I sadly feel like there's a need for a disclaimer. Elden Ring currently has a massive player base. And it really doesn't matter what level you play at. You're going to get your invasions or duels anyway. So if the thought of someone not wanting to play at the same level as you makes you angry, then maybe you should go outside and, just play at the level you have the most fun with. And to start with, I want to give a shout out to Scott Junt, Oroboro, King of Games 83, Dang It Jim, Fighting Cowboy, the YouTube comments and the Elden Ring Reddit. Thanks for giving me the shithole of content. I spent about 5 hours watching 25-minute ramble videos with a lot of regurgitated arguments being thrown back and forth. People really don't like to keep their points concise, so this is to summarize everything being thrown around. I give my own thoughts about this issue at the end of the video. If anyone gives a shit, to be honest, I wouldn't. And this is to help you make a decision. If you're still on the fence, and if you're not, you can ignore me and just watch some duels in the background. I'll give the most common arguments about going to a particular rune level, as well as the counterpoints people are making against that. The first one a lot of people make for going to 120 is that stats will be too high, and people won't have to make important choices for their builds, which is countered by others saying that doing so gives a lot of disadvantages to people wanting to make hybrid builds, as they won't be able to hit the soft caps, though this one is easily disproven, as a lot of people have already shown in very in-depth with many examples that it's still possible to make working hybrid builds. And in similar spirit, some say that it's not essential to hit your soft caps, and if you really wish to do so, it should be a trade-off to hit them, with the other side bringing up that this way non-melee builds would be at a heavier disadvantage, as a lot of weapon arts heavily outdamage ranged weapons and spells at lower stats. One of the problems most of us can probably agree on is that the damage output is very high, with even unoptimized builds being able to 3 or 4 shot you. While some think keeping the level lower might mitigate some of that, others think that even at 120 you'll still die way too fast to someone with a well-made build. Something also brought up a few times is new player inclusivity, as players finishing their first playthrough can easily hit level 150 or more. Though it also has to be said that this issue is more geared towards people planning to host fight clubs or tournaments, so including new players with unoptimized builds isn't at the forefront of their thoughts. And with optimization, players for lower level meta notice that endurance is basically a dead stat if you're not planning on stacking poise, as well as the huge amount of stats you're able to get with the talismans and flasks available in the game. Speaking of poise, a general issue concerning all kinds of PvP is also how powerful it is in Elden Ring. While some people hope that staying at a lower level will discourage people from stacking poise, most counter-arguments say that it's still possible to wear heavy armor at level 120. So the idea of making poise stacking something of a taboo in a duel etiquette came up. While it's very hard to enforce, it might be a solution in controlled environments. And the last argument, while not the most important, is that Elden Ring has a lot of awesome spells. And with the access of free memory slots, players are encouraged to have at least some of them at their disposal, though some have extremely high stat requirements. And the counter side also noted that a lot of the higher requirement spells and incantations are pretty much unusable in the 1v1 situation. So that was most of what I gathered in the arduous slog that this was. I've left a bit out, like unimportant stuff, just tiny nitpicks. And what are your thoughts? Are you camp 120 or camp 150? Or are you more concerned with getting the most people, so you're at 135 being able to battle with both camps? And lastly, I want to thank you for watching the video. I've put a lot of effort into this, and it was probably not worth it. So if you want to watch the rest of the duels, you're free to do so. I have the footage and I don't know what to do with it. I think they're pretty good. I might see you next time, or not. I'm not quite sure yet. But until then, goodbye.